Hi everyone, Mark Igo here with your weekly MassHSchoolHockey.com review. It's Friday, January 28th. We've got plenty of hockey to cover from across the state. Highlighting the week's recap is obviously the snowfall. We've had a bunch of cancellations this week. So make sure you go to the website and check out all the schedules for the rescheduled games. Dates, times, locations will all be up on the website. We topped another great game for our weekly contest. That's the second week in a row now that we've had a tie. This week we featured the Hingham Harbormen against the Marshfield Rams, playing over Monday night at Pilgrim Arena. Again, they skated to a 3-3 tie. We had 73 people enter the contest and try to predict the correct outcome of that game. Unfortunately, nobody nailed the score at 3-3. So the Reebok 10K stick goes unclaimed with this week's contest and will now be up for grabs with next week's contest. Alright, so for this week's contest, what we're asking you to do is correctly predict the outcome of the featured game between Concord Carlisle Patriots and the Drake Middies. This game will be played on Monday, January 31st at 8 p.m. We've had two ties already with 2-2 on the BC game and 3-3 on the Hingham game. So again, tightly contested games here. Make sure you get your scores in prior to game time. Again, that game's going to start at 8 p.m. on Monday night. So get your scores in. The week's prize is going to be the Reebok 10K stick again. Hopefully we'll have a winner announced here next Friday during our recap. And again, a big thanks out to our friends at Reebok Hockey. Please don't forget to visit ReebokHockey.com. Let's start with Women's Division II tonight, where we're going to find no changes at the top of the rankings here. Coming in at number 1 are the Duxbury Lady Dragons at 9-1-0. Number 2 is Font Bonnet 7-1-2. And holding on to the number 3 ranking this week is the Norwood Mustangs at 9-1-0. We have a hot streak going on with our games of the week. Last week we highlighted the Medfield Canton Bulldogs game, and both teams showed up and played extremely well, and they skated to a 1-1 tie. Let's see if we can keep it going. This week we're going to take a look at our number 7 Winchester team coming in to face an 8-1-2 Lexington team. Lexington is a Division I team, currently ranked number 5 over in the Women's Division I. So tough task ahead for number 7 Winchester in Division II, but again, good pairing there for our women's game of the week. Women's Division I is going to follow suit. No changes here really to speak of. Top 3 teams again are Woburn coming in the 1 seed at 10-1-0, while St. Mary's holds on to number 2 with a 10-0-2 record, and Winthrop Lynn stays at number 3. Coming to us at 9-2-0 this week. Our game of the week from last week featured our number 6 team, the Hingham Harbor Women, facing off against a feisty Austin Prep team. Hingham went on to win that game 3-0. This week we're going to circle the game between our number 8 Arlington squad. They're coming in at 8-2-1. They're going to be up against Concord Carlisle, who's coming in at 7-4-1. This should be a great game. Can catch the Arlington Concord Carlisle Division I game of the week. Alright, moving over to the men's, we're going to take a look at Division II. We find no changes at the top of Division II this week. Number 1 is Newburyport. They're coming in at 7-2-0. At number 2 is Wilmington at 9-1-1. And Peabody comes back in at number 3. They're 8-1-2 this week. Tewksbury's keeping chase. They're coming in at number 4, and they improved to 10-2-0. So let's keep a close eye on the Redmen and see if they can move up the rankings this week. Last week's game of the week, we had our undefeated 9-0-1 Mansfield up against last year's Division II state champion, the Canton Bulldogs. The Bulldogs pulled off a 2-1 upset victory in a great contest. So Mansfield sees their first loss of the season go to last year's state champion, the Bulldogs. This week we're taking a look at the game between Winthrop. Winthrop's coming in at number 6, and they are going to face a very, very scrappy 4-7-0 Revere team. This is a must-see game. It should be a lot of fun out there, and this is going to take place on Wednesday, February 2nd at 6 p.m. So be sure to catch the Winthrop-Revere game as our Division II game of the week. More changes happening over in the men's Division I. We have a new team at the top of the heap this week. Severian had held that ranking for a couple of weeks, but they're handing the #1 ranking over to Catholic Memorial this week, while Severian falls down to #5. Coming on in at #2 is a team that we've been kind of watching all year. Weymouth has climbed all the way from #4 now into the #2 spot. Last week's #2, Barnstable, now drops down to #3. Weymouth field moving up, and Barnstable moving down into #3, and Severian finds itself in the #5 spot. Last week we featured the Barnstable rivalry game against Falmouth. Unfortunately, that game got snowed out just last night, so we'll keep you posted. Again, check the website for the rescheduling of that game, as it should be a great game when it does finally get played. This week we're going to take a look at the contest between #8 Wakefield and #10 Woburn. Always a great rivalry. This one should be a lot of fun, a lively contest. It's going to take place on Wednesday, February 2nd, 8 p.m. over at O'Brien Arena. So be sure to get over to O'Brien Arena to catch that game. If you can't, obviously you can come over to MassHShockey.com to get the final score. Now on to my favorite division, the men's Division III. This changes every week. We have a new leader at the top this week, as Hudson wasn't able to hold the #1 state ranking. Coming in this week at #1 is Westwood. Westwood brings a 9-1-1 record to the top, and clinging on to the #2 spot this week is Longmeadow. Longmeadow working their way back up. They're now 9-2-0, while Pembroke stays in the #3 spot with a record of 6-0-3. Don't look now, but last year's state finalist Scituate, the Sailors have begun to put together a little run, and they find themselves now back into the #4 ranking. So the Sailors are making a mid to late season run here. Last week we told you to circle that game between Drake and Lowell, and these teams did not let us down. What a great game that was. They skated to a 2-2 tie, and that game could have gone on forever. This week we're going to take a look at our feature between #10, the 8-0 Bourne Canalmen. They are going to face off against their town rivals in Wareham. The Wareham Vikings come into this game at 6-6-0, and certainly look to knock off the undefeated Bourne Canalmen in a big game. You can catch this game at the Gallo Arena on February the 2nd at 8 p.m. and we'll see if the Canalmen can move up from #10 and keep that unbeaten streak alive. In Division 3A, Holyoke holds on to the top spot again. They're now 10-0-0, so great start for Holyoke. We have a little bit of a change here now with Amherst Pelham coming in at #2, and Groton Dunstable dropping down to #3. So Amherst leapfrogs Groton Dunstable, as Amherst now has an 8-1-2 record, and Groton Dunstable drops to 9-1-0. Last week we selected the game between #4 Agawam Brownies and the Belchertown Orioles. Another great game. The Brownies were able to hold on to a 2-0 shutout victory as Belchertown gave them everything that they had. This week we're selecting the game between #8 Chicopee, who's coming in at 7-4-1. They're up against #2 Amherst Pelham. Big opportunity for Chicopee to move up in the rankings. Amherst also has their eyes on the #1 slot. So big game coming up. That's going to be on Saturday the 29th, 6 p.m. over at Fitzpatrick. That's going to do it for this week's recap. Again, coaches, keep sending in those stats and the rosters. Again, you can send those in to info@masshighschoolhockey.com. I know we appreciate your feedback, and we appreciate putting those stats up there for all our fans. Don't forget to enter this week's contest. Again, try to win yourself a Reebok 10K stick, $199 retail value. Again, thanks to our friends over at Reebok. And For all the makeup games, which there's many because of this snow, visit the website daily. Those games will be updated. They will be played. So check the website regularly to see when those games will be rescheduled. Make sure you get out to your rinks to support your local high school teams, and I'll see you all next week right back here at MassHSchoolHockey.com.